Well, we don't know which way to back. Okay. Recommend.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending and listening to the Reinvention Center's Growth Hour today. Um, Today is part two of the McDowell story. For the ones that haven't, or this their first time actually tuning in, what we're going to do is have them give a recap of what they gave last week, the services and things that they do. Um, you know, Before we do that, I want to acknowledge that we have a petition going for Dr. Carmen Johnson, and we ask that everyone signs the petition and shares it. Again, we're not asking for no money. We just ask that everybody signs it and supports it by signing it and sharing it. It can be found on my page, Lisa Riley's page, Maurice Clifton page, or other pages, outlets Breaking Silence, the Reinvention Center's page. You know, if you can't find it for whatever reason or don't know how to sign it, please contact myself or anyone that I just named, and we can walk you through the process. Again, today is the McDowell story. These are gentlemen that are very phenomenal, have been doing a lot of community services, and we thought that their story needed to be shared so people can have the opportunity to reach out to these gentlemen and get their assistance. Presently, they are located in California, but they are branching out, going to other different areas. And regardless of what area you're in, they will work with you. So don't hesitate to contact them. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead on and allow them to reintroduce themselves for the one that are just first time viewers, and give us a recap of what they do and stuff. And then we'll go into what the next stage of it is. Good evening, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
Oh, good.
All right, all right. How about yourself?
I'm all right. I'm always glad to have you, gentlemen. Y'all like a breath of fresh air.
Well, thank you. And same to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, do y'all mind reintroducing what your organization is? Give us a brief recap of what your organization is, what they do, what are you trying to, what your future goals are, and then we'll go into the second phase of the show.
Sure. Well, what we are is we're a nonprofit organization that promotes social justice throughout the United States, as well as provides affordable legal services to the disadvantaged community here in California. We work with every county in California, as well as we do a lot of community outreach programs as far as the homeless. We do care packages for the homeless veterans, toy drives. We we provide legal services for them as well. Um, and we do different things like that. We also currently are working with Tesla on, I don't want to say a reentry program, but it's dealing with reentry guys that are currently incarcerated that are getting out within the next 6 months. Where we take these guys and we take them to Tesla. Tesla has started a pilot program. It's brand new, but where they're putting these guys through an 18-month program where they go to Tesla, they get paid for while they're doing the program, they get all the health benefits. They enter the program, they train for 18 months. After the 18-month training, they're able to get executive level jobs, not just some on the line pushing parts. Um, we do that amongst other things. I mean, whatever's needed in the community, man. If they need the street swept, I'm gonna grab a broom and go out there and get it done. So that's basically what we do.
Okay, so the Tesla program, if you don't mind me asking you a few questions about that.
Sure.
Can anyone apply for I know you said that you are geared toward individuals that's returning citizens. But I'm thinking, me knowing you, I know that you're doing it, but I'm saying it for everyone else. I know that you do it for anyone that's at risk that wants to change their life and go in a different direction. I think that you will help them.
Right.
With that being said, I'm asking, can anyone apply for the Tesla program?
Absolutely. Well, what we did was this. Actually, the first guy that we got into the program um, is a guy that was not currently incarcerated. He stays out in Vegas, Nevada. So we got him in. He's the first guy into the program out of there. Not Stockton. Somewhere in Utah. What is that? Next to Vegas,
Uh,
Idaho. It's one of those didn't them, but it's Tesla has an office out there, but Utah.
I know. One
Same thing I just said. But no, but yeah, in one of those states there, they have another besides California, they have a plant out there. So to answer your question, yeah, if anybody is looking to get into that program, they can contact us. They can contact us at our website, call our 800 number, ask for me, and we can definitely see what we can do about getting them into that program.
Okay, so what are the requirements for the program?
Well, one of the things that they're looking for is just what you said. People that are looking to make a change. You know, a guy that's looking to be able to afford to raise his family without having to commit some type of crime, or you know what I mean, or sell drugs or whatever it may be. I actually met these guys. The main guy's name is Dan Wool. It's a guy that I met at San Quentin State Prison. He was part of the Christian Ministries basketball program. They came in and played basketball against the guys that were incarcerated with me. Um, a real good guy, met him, and we just stayed in contact. And before I got out, he mentioned to me about starting this program. We talked about it, and man, next thing you know, he took it to the higher ups, and they implemented it.
So, do you know what areas other than where you at that Tesla has that this program will be available? For example, can you tell me if they have a program in DMV area or something like that? If they don't, or have a office or something that's near where we are, with you guys or one of you guys or both of you guys, talking to whoever you have to talk to try to get this program established out here in this area over here, Washington D.C., Virginia, and Maryland area.
Well, it's funny you asked that. I just had a conversation with him about that Friday night, and Tesla only has plants. Wherever they have plants is where they can run the program.
Okay.
But what we discussed is we want to be able to get guys into the program, and we're looking to Unite the People's looking to start opening some drop-in centers, right? Where people who are at risk in the neighborhoods, whatever neighborhood it may be, can come in and clean themselves up, get some food. We're going to have coding. We're going to have coding classes there. We're going to provide them with contacts, right? The local business owners and who are providing, let's say a guy is out in the streets hustling, selling dope. Let's just use that because that's common, right? So if there's a guy out selling drugs to make it and he wants to change his circumstances, but he doesn't know anything else, we want to be able to introduce them to local vendors, wholesale vendors in their community that can say, hey, well, this is what we do. We sell these shirts or whatever it may be, wholesale, and we'll give you this. This is what it would cost. We'll try to, be involved in some way, shape, or form. Again, it's fairly new, but with these drop-in centers being around, what we talked with Tesla about is we're going to eventually want to branch out through other states. We want to be out in Washington, D.C. We want to be out in Mississippi with Mr. Clifton. We want to be out in D.C. You know what I mean? So
Right.
doing that, man, they're fully on board. But what we have to do. What he explained to me was, let's get this beginning stage going. Let's get Tesla in. We got about 20 guys over to Tesla so far, and let's get this thing going for a minute. And if it's something they do, because funding is key.
Right.
In order for us to do any of that, we have to be funded. So of course we're going to look to Tesla for that, but we have to crawl before we walk. So we have to take those initial stages first.
So the conversation y'all had, did they say they have a plant in this area or did they not? I'm asking you that, and then Mr. Matthews has his hand up, so I'm gonna let him ask you a question after that.
Sure. No, they've only mentioned to me about 2 plants that they have. One in Northern California, and the other one is connected right to Las Vegas, whatever state that is, whether it's Idaho or Utah. It's spacing me for right now. But these guys are able to drive from Vegas and go to the plant there. Those are the only 2 plants that I know about. I will ask him now that this topic has come up again. I will ask him, do they have any plants in any other states?
Or any other programs that they may be willing to start, whether it be salesmen or anything, detailers or whatever at their local dealerships, because I know they have a dealership downtown DC. I pass by it all the time. So, I'm looking to bring in, some form of employment, meaningful employment to the DC area for individuals that are trying to change their lives, because that is one of the major steps that we actually need. The thing was, when I was incarcerated and I came home, I had employment waiting. So that made my transition a whole lot easier because I had an income. It's a difference when you don't have an income and you're dependent on family members and loved ones to do things, and their budget's already tight before you came. And now that you come,
Right.
because, keep in mind, they can send $40 or $50 every other month or something like that. Now that you're here, your expenses are quadruple. So anything that you can think of, definitely I want to team and cooperate with you. And we had discussed this before, myself, yourself, Dr. Carmen. We had all discussed this last week, but we're definitely into for you expanding to the DC area, and for you partnering with us in any other program that you have and any other program that you can bring to the table. With that, I'm going to Mr. Matthews, who you met earlier, has a comment. Go ahead, Mr. Matthews.
Hey, good evening. Again, I work for a program, and that's what we do. It's called Vehicle for Change. We get people out of prison and teach them how to be auto mechanics. So we have it in Hawthorne, Maryland, here in PG. We just got a grant for Salisbury, Maryland, and we sort of open a facility in PG County. So, we have a program like that, and they really had a program in Detroit, but I think in February we still awards cars to Detroit. I'm sending 4 cars to Detroit tomorrow, whether it's snow, but the program is for, like you said, a driven, paid intern social program that designed to teach them auto mechanics. We used to have the detailing, but we got away from it. The criteria was they got to have a high school diploma, ability within the program to get a driver's license and some basic mechanical knowledge, but it's a paid training. After they graduate from the training, we give them a car. We got a grant. We sponsored by Mile One, who have 77 auto dealerships around the world. So we branching out, but and we open Monday through Friday. So we do have it going here in the DMV. It's called Vehicle for Change. You can go to their website, vehicleforchange.org, get all the information you need, and we sell cars. So what we do, we get cars donated from families, and we fix the cars with the interns, and we give the cars to families. Some of the cars we don't give the families, we donate. So it's a two-way street, but the program has been in existence for over 15 years.
Well, okay, that's great right there. Hey, can I join your team?
I'm working on it now, but you doing it. But he used to do the detailing, the McDowell brothers, and I'm a detailer, but he got away from it. I think they go hand in hand because as you see the criteria, he said they got to be mechanic knowledge. With detailing, you don't have to be detail knowledge. It's easy for us to teach a person how to wash a car and go get a job at the car wash instead of going to work at McDonald's. But the guy Marty, I can tune him into y'all. He's real good. I've been dealing with him for a couple of years, pounding at his head. He finally let me in the door maybe 3 months ago, and they loving the ideas I got. And I told him we just trying to span worldwide.
That's right. Well, if there's anything we can do for you out here in Cali, man, hit me up.
Look at his website when you get a chance. Go on Vehicle for Change, because we may can talk to you to get something connected with you, because he already got the map. You got the resources, and he'll know how to get the funding. He just got a funding for PG County that was $150,000. He got a funding for Salisbury that was $60,000, and we don't even know how we're gonna do it. We were supposed to open in January, but because of COVID, we pushed it back to April. So, but PG County, as Brother James know, they begging us to hurry up and open. But as you know, there's no need of rushing open when you already got a product, even though we got the grant. But if you rush and open, you for failure. But it's a great program you're doing. I'm connected to Tesla in Beltsville. I started working with him, but now I may go back working with him because you gave me some insight. So I can just tap back in it in with a phone call because, but that's what I do, all the details. So I've been doing it 30 years. So I just got old and say I want to get out of it. But James pulled me in and, he got my juices flowing again. So, but, it's all built around helping people, it's all built around second chance. And I think we can tap in worldwide with it.
Right, absolutely.
I'm hoping that the resources that everyone have, that we can make a collective effort to get them where in different areas, wherever the McDowell brothers are at. Hopefully they can reach out. Y'all can work something out where they can get the program there, because it's all about helping individuals get the meaningful employment or meaningful skills or marketable skills to be able to make in the society. I definitely. You can't hear us, Maurice? Can you hear us now, Maurice? That's what it's about, so I definitely appreciate the program you have, and I'm hoping that y'all can, I'll make sure I get you the number, the information, contact information, and y'all can talk more on that. But as that's PG County. Yep. And I wasn't 100% sure all that you were involved in. So before the show is over with, we will allow you to again give that information. And so for the people that's in this area, and or anyone that wants to contact you and possibly start it in their area, how they can do that.
Real quick, I don't want to sound dumb, but I heard you guys say it like 4 or 5 times. What do you mean by DMV?
Right, I was just about to say that. I don't know what the DMV is.
Department of Motor Vehicles.
Yeah,
right.
We okay. About a car.
DMV is we use the term. It's an acronym for DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Because all the 3 of those are connecting states. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I figured it out.
So when you hear that, I thanks for bringing it to my attention, because everybody don't know what that means. So we have to be more specific in what we're saying.
Yeah, but out here it stands for Department of Motor Vehicles.
Well, we definitely don't want to, we got to go to them and get our license, but once we get that, we don't want to deal with them in any other form or fashion, monetary wise. But definitely we're trying to, get different programs and do different things. Last week, y'all were speaking on the different reduced legal services that you offer. Do you mind expounding on that more for the individual, for the new listeners?
Right. Well, what we do is this. Okay. Mitch has a family situation he has to tend to, so I get the whole camera now. And
I think you prayed for that. God answered your prayers.
Couldn't wait. No, no, I'm just joking. But yeah. So what we do is this, right? We provide affordable legal services, and we say, and when it first came up, it was we provide affordable legal services for the disadvantaged community. But actually, I feel funny saying that. Every time I say that, it doesn't taste right? Because it's the disadvantaged community is that single mom with the kids when the father's been locked up and given some disproportionate sentence, where in California, it's crazy. I mean, literally, like you guys all know, I got 3 life sentences for a nonviolent crime. I mean, I cussed. I did. I said some mean things, but I didn't hit nobody, touch nobody, scratch nobody, or nothing. And at the age of 24, 25, I was sentenced to 3 life sentences. And it did 20 of those years. And everybody here knows I just got out about 6 months ago. Started this nonprofit from my prison cell in San Quentin State Prison with my brother Mitch. And we wanted to provide affordable legal services to the people, because when you're in there, like Mr. Jones, you may know, that's what we don't have. If you don't have big money, you don't have no great lawyer. You got some bum coming in half dressed. The courts is laughing at him. If I told you guys a story, you guys would fall out laughing. My first lawyer, see, when I first caught this case, every lawyer told me, you're not going to go to prison. That was my niece. She works at the office. And they say that, oh, you're not going to go to prison. These are misdemeanor charges. I got 3 life sentences for misdemeanor charges. And every time, the first law office I hired, of course, I went with the fight the power lawyer. I don't want to say her name because they are horrible, but she never even showed up to my court case once. She would always send somebody else. So the courts know where in Riverside County, you guys don't know about Riverside County, California, but it's known out here. If you're Black or Hispanic and you go to jail in Riverside County, you can kiss the baby, right? And that's basically, what it was. So while I'm going to court, I'm telling the lawyers, look, I'm looking at life. They want to give me a third strike. All my lawyers are from Los Angeles. And they're telling me like it's impossible. You didn't hit nobody. All you did was curse. And your wife had an affair. She cheated on you. You cursed her out, but you didn't touch her physically. There's no way in the world. Nobody's going to sentence you to life. So they didn't take my case serious. So the law office that I hired, she never showed up. She sent one of her new lawyers in. This guy would show up to court, man, and I'd be sitting there irate, but everybody else in the court thought it was funny. I mean, the judge, the bailiff, the clerks, every time he walked into the courtroom, they would fall over laughing because this guy would be half dressed. He had a big old belly, his stomach halfway sticking out. He pulling his shirt down, doing his tie. He got a briefcase and a donut in his mouth. And I'm sitting there cringing because, my life is on the line. Everybody else, the bailiffs used to tell me after he left, like, McDowell, what do you think, this is a game? They're going to fry you in here. And you got this guy, right? But anyway, when you go to prison, like I explained before, one of my favorite things to say, I say it like second nature now. I say it to everybody is, hey, man, let me borrow 150,000 so I can see further. My father said it all the time when I was a kid. And it's just one of those things I picked up. I really don't mean to say it, but hey, Mr. Jones, let me borrow 150,000 so I can see further. So when I would say that in prison, dudes would always say this. This is one of the main reasons why we started the affordable legal services. Dudes, seemed like every dude's, maybe one didn't, but out of 10, 9 people said, "Shit, if I had that kind of money, I'd hire me a lawyer. I wouldn't be in prison." Right? And that's one thing that we don't get. The Black or Hispanic community, we don't have the money to get the top-notch lawyers. We either get one that's appointed by the state or a public defender, or maybe you're blessed like I was. My brother, he left, but he had money to hire a lawyer, and we just don't get good representation. So what we do is we provide. If you go Google our lawyers, we only hire top-notch lawyers. But what we do is we find the lawyers and they're rare. It's rare to find them. You find the lawyers that are already fighting for the people. Our supervising lawyer means he's the head lawyer of all the lawyers in the legal team. And everything falls on him if we mess up. So the guy that we went and got was a guy named Muhammad Ali. And when he applied for the job, first thing I did was I looked at his resume. He did post-conviction work, meaning guys that are already incarcerated in prison. So that made me give him a call, Google him, look him up. And the guy in 2017 was one of the top 100 most influential lawyers there is. He works with the homeless. If you Google his name, you can go on Facebook and find a video of him being arrested for out fighting for the homeless in Orange County, California. The police were moving one of the homeless encampments, and they were just treating them like dogs. and he couldn't take it. So he ran over there and tried to help him. The police ended up roughing him up, beating him up a little bit, and arresting him. That's actually one of the reasons, the main reason why I hired him, because he cared. Our organization, we don't hire no office staff, period. If you don't have either a current or formerly incarcerated loved one, you can't work with Unite the People. And it's nothing against the people who don't, but we need you to understand what them collect calls cost. We need you to understand when the clients are calling us and they're, hey, they've only paid, we charge with the average, let's just use the request for resentencing. That's big in California right now. The request for resentencing on average in California costs between $12,000 and $15,000 at the average law firm. We charge $2,900, $2,900. And our lawyers are better than their lawyers. So you're actually getting great representation for a low cost. And the way we're able to afford that lawyer is because we get so many people. Our nonprofit, we make just about our overhead every month, right? We're not some big organization. We just do a lot of different work. But like the homeless care packages, that came out of me and Mitch's pockets. The cases where people can't afford lawyers and they can't even afford our low fees. A lot of times, and I honestly say this, a lot of times, I'll forfeit my check. And it's not like, oh, I'm so great. I'm not so great, man. I know what Top Ramen is like. If I walked you guys over to my refrigerator right now, you would say, damn, you're out. You don't need Top Ramens, right? But that's what I do, man. Just whatever it is we can do for the people, that's what we do. I hate calling it the disadvantaged community because that single mom where the guy was locked up forever, she shouldn't be called disadvantaged. I mean, she's really super advantaged. She's out raising them babies and getting them in school while her husband sits in a prison cell. So I hope that wasn't too long of an answer, but that was your answer, Mr. Jones.
I appreciate it. Never too long of an answer. This is a show. This is your show. This is, it's the McDowell show tonight. So I definitely appreciate the answer that you gave, which leads me to ask you a few questions. And I want to read something to you out of, that I once read when I was in. It was from an attorney named Muhammad Bashir. And he said this, and I read this to you because it coincides with the representation of attorneys. He says that, and this is coming from, he's a lawyer. First, I want to establish that. He's a lawyer. He said that what the client misses is that the lawyer game is like any other grind, a hustle. We promote ourselves off the back of those who are desperate, and I find that to be 100% true. When you're in prison, everybody is desperate to get home. So if whoever sells us the best pitch of what they can do for us are the ones that we go with. Right. Unfortunately, we don't have as much knowledge, or we don't even have when I say resources, I'm saying we're not able to go Google them to, go look into them ourselves before we hire them. We just have to rely on word of mouth or somebody else or what we think we seen. Because he can be a lawyer that was on a team of lawyers that won a major case, and he can always tell you, hey, I helped win this case. That's the truth, but that's not the actual story of what actually happened. Right. Right. So we have to rely on things like that. One thing that I wanted to comment on, you said about the fight the power lawyer, we are learning that, just because you look like us or you sound like us doesn't mean you are for us, and I think you learned that firsthand. Right. So we have to, again, I'm glad that you are starting what you're starting because it gives people another outlet to be able to get someone that's actually about fighting for them. The next thing I wanted to speak on, not today, but in the very near future, I would like for you to come back on with myself, and I'm going to have some other guests that come on, and this topic is going to be about what help is needed in order to get out of prison. We're going to give them the resources and the help that we have to help people fight their cases while they're in prison, before they go to prison, or whatever the case may be. I was going to speak to you about that at a later date. But that's one of the shows that I want to do in the near future that's just based solely on different resources and help for individuals that are facing prison time or that's in prison. The third thing is I want to ask you this for other people, because for everybody that's listening, looking, I understand that you're based out of California, but let's say, for example, you have Miss Harris here who's in Alabama. If she has a situation or a legal matter or something that she needs to deal with, and can she reach out to you and get some guidance at the least from your attorneys or whatever they're willing to do. Only you can answer what can be done. So that's my question. My question is, if people are in other states, can they still reach out to you and get some form of help?
Absolutely. See, the way that happens is this. We've been having that. We get people that contact us from Mississippi. We get people from every state, Oklahoma, Washington, D.C., because we had a lawyer that was licensed in D.C. that was working in California with us, so people would reach out. One, they cannot offer legal advice. Like if you're not licensed in another state, you can't unless you're federally. They have to file the petition with the feds. Let's say they want to do post conviction work, and then in the feds, and they can. It doesn't matter what state. So people will contact us, and they'll say, "Hey, listen, this is my situation. I'm not in California, but this is where I am over here, and this is my situation. What should I do?" Now we will have the lawyers respond to them because I can't respond to them. I can tell them, what I think, but they don't really care about what I think, right? You can get that from the neighbor next door. You want to know what the lawyer thinks, right? And so what I do is, to be honest, and he's not watching right now, hopefully, or if he is, I'm busted. But what I do is I forward it to the head lawyer, and I always say, Muhammad, I'm trying to answer this question. Can you answer it for me? And when I say that, he automatically, okay, yeah, I'll answer it. And he'll go do a little research and he'll respond. So that's how we've been getting that done. But one thing that we want to do, we were talking with a couple of our lawyers in the past about a handbook, right? A manual that we could start from the moment of incarceration, from when the police pull you over, right? Knowing your rights, all of that, till the end when you're released from prison, if you go to prison. But a lot of people don't know. We take it for granted. Like, to be honest, I've been in prison more years of my life than I've been free. If you tally up the years that I was free and the years that I was incarcerated, I have been in prison more than I have been free. So a lot of things come to me second nature. I just, okay, this is how life is. But a lot of women or moms don't know that. So we're thinking about trying to put together a handbook that can be for every state, something generally guide people and to doing, whatever they need. But they can definitely contact us. If they call the office, they can go on our website and contact us through our website. We just put on a chat mechanism on our website where it pops up asking you what do you need and all of that to help make it easier for people to explain what they need to us. But anybody in any state, I don't care at what time, call me and we'll try to make it happen, whatever we can do.
Thank you. Again, before we go further, I ask that you give us your contact information, say it loud for the individuals that's actually on Facebook, or the one, if they're on the panel, can you put it in the chat so they can actually have your contact information, so they can look at you? Go ahead, sir.
Okay, I don't know how to put it into the chat. I keep seeing things pop up, and it got to be the chat because it's words on the bottom of my phone.
That's what it is.
But I've been gone so long, I don't even know how to do that. But I will say that our phone number is 888-245-9393. My personal extension is 101. If somebody wants to get through to me, I do have an assistant that helps me every morning. And hey, thank you, Sarah. I see it. But I do have an assistant that goes through and helps me check every message every morning. So I reply to everything every day. So if they 888-245-9393, extension 101, you get straight through to me. Or you can go to our website at www.unitethepeople.org. You can
One
either,
second. www.unitethepeople.
yeah, unitethepeople.org. And you can, hey, there's Sarah again. Thank you, Sarah. And yeah, you can go there, man, and just hit the contact us. When you contact us or book a consultation, any button you push, I see everything. So you can just put your information in there, say you would like to speak with me or Mitch or whoever, whatever it is you need, and we'll contact you.
Um, I put it on Facebook because you have a few people that's on Facebook that's wanting to comment and that are making comments, and I normally read it to the panel. One of the questions I already asked you, which is, someone out of court. One second. Charity Hansen asked about, she's out of Michigan. She was asking about, would you be able to help there? You answered that question for us. Another question they have is off the topic for tonight, but I will ask it at the end of the show. I also wanted to say in the segment that I'm saying the show of help, I was going to bring this at that time because it should be done out for sale and everything at that time. But I beat you to the punch, brother, of the manual that takes you as you get arrested all the way to the resources that are afforded after you get out. So within the next 30 days, that will be for sale. So when we do the show, I will have the links and everything where that can be purchased at. One of the things that I did is made it very, very affordable because I know you may have read the book Busted by the Feds, and there's another lawyer out of California. I can't think of his last name. I want to say Richard Madcliffe or something like that there, that he has a prisoner's book that has all the different programs in the federal system. And all of those books are over $100, so I wanted to do something that's more effective, more helpful because it has sample motions, procedures, everything in there, steps on how to fill out the motions and everything, inside of that book there. So we will get together and host a show that will help everybody. We're on the same page. We're just in different geographical locations. Before I go any further, I want to ask if any panelists have any questions that they may want to ask the McDowells or any comments that they would like to share.
My condolences, definitely, to you and your family.
And thank you.
I just want to say thank you for being here. Like, there's families that really do need you that can't get out there like other families. So I just appreciate you guys stepping up and doing stuff like this for the communities.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Can I say something before we go any further?
I just want to say thank you.
Trying to say this. Number one, can you please share with our website or our social media? Can you go to our Unite the People USA, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, and send us the change.org petition for the Dr. Johnson, you said? Can you share that with us, and then we can promote that? We don't have a lot of followers, but we do probably have close to maybe 30, 40,000 in California, or around here. But everybody that's normally following us are really active type people in our community and what we're fighting. So if you share that with us, we can get people to sign it and people to share it, for sure. Then the other thing is your book. Seeing that you beat us to it's not a problem. That's work I have to do. Wow. But I will help you promote it because the people need it, man. There's so many moms that call me and say, all right, look, I know nothing, help me. So if you've gotten it all written down, I'll promote it and I'll put it out and share it with everyone.
Definitely appreciate it. So let me make sure your website is correct. It's www.unitethepeopleiusa.org.
No, our website is unitethepeople.org.
Okay.
Unite the people, not United People. Unite, because we get that a lot. It's unitethepeople.org. And our social media Again, I was in prison. I knew nothing about what I was doing. I started all these pages. They have different names than our website. But our social media page, Mr. Matthews, I can see you understand. But our social media pages are Unite the People USA. So you can go to our Facebook or our Instagram or our Twitter and share that with us. And as soon as the people that do the social media see it, they'll definitely come and tell me like, hey, look, they sent this, and we'll repost it or whatever we got to do.
I just put it on Facebook Live. So I put both of your the social media site and your website on Facebook Live for people that are watching because they're asking about it. So I did do that. Dr. Carmen is on here, as you see. So I'm hoping that she did get the information so she can forward it to you. She's usually on top of it. So, on top of her game. Go ahead, Ms. Dr. Carmen.
Yeah, I tried to find you guys last week because I'm a Twitter person. And and I couldn't. It's like I see a couple of Unite the People. So I don't know. After the @ sign, is it UTP USA or?
I've seen that one. I've seen that. Okay, let me explain something real quick so I don't look like a buffoon, right? I started all the pages from my prison cell, and I didn't even know how to do it. So you might have found UTP USA because that sounds like something I did before. I used to have an email that was UTP USA, so that might be it. But all you have to do is look for our logo. Our logo is the United States, the outline of the United States with the red, white, and blue. I'm sure it's probably Unite the People USA.
I'm following now. I found you.
You did? All right, there we go. If you have Instagram, normally if you'll notice our followers on Facebook are like 20,000, something like that on Facebook. Our largest followers are on Facebook because I didn't know how to do Instagram. So we just started Instagram. The youngsters told me like, hey, you're missing all of us. We're on Instagram. So I have nieces, Mitch's daughters, who help us. They work with us. They showed me how to do it. So our followers are kind of lower there. But one thing I do want to say, Mr. Jones and Ms. Johnson, is really soon we do have a lot of celebrities that are working with us. And we're working currently on a campaign to change the enhancement law throughout the state of California, where they give us, like, you might commit a crime that carries 3 years, gun possession, whatever it may be. What they're doing with the Black and Hispanics and I don't want to say just us, what they're doing with the Black, Hispanics, and the broke people is if you have anything in your past, they're able to give you these enhancements now. So let's say, Mr. Jones, they pull you over, you have a gun. That's 3 years, right? 1 to 3, 16 to 3, 16 months to 3 years in prison in California. But they're also going to give you that sentence plus a gun enhancement, which is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 to life. Either they pick, right? And they add that onto your 3 years. And then if they go through your Facebook page and they see you and another brother that may have been in the gang, either all the way back to your high school days, then they're going to go to court and they're going to say, they show it. They do it all the time here. They take your Facebook pictures to the courtroom. They blow them up. They don't say at the bottom where you say, hey, at a birthday party, look who walked up. They crop it and they show just a picture of you and the other brother. He has on a red or blue hat. Now you're a gang member. So they're going to give you another 5, 10, 15, 20, or 25 to life. And they add all those up. So your little 3-year sentence may actually turn out to be 43, 53, 33 years. And if you guys have noticed, I don't know how much of our news reaches other states. The biggest county out here is Los Angeles County. Their new DA, George Gascon, that just came on out here, has changed that. There's no more 3 strikes in LA. There's no more gang or gun enhancement in LA. They took all that away. And we're working to get that for the rest of the state of California. So the reason why I brought this up is we do have a lot of celebrities working with us. We do have, like I said before, Tory Lanez, whether he did it or didn't do it, I know he didn't do it. I know the story, but I can't talk about it. But Tory Lanez, you know, I love black women, and so does he. But I'm gonna leave it at that. But he's part of our organization. Um, he's working with us on that campaign. He's been the only funding we raised was him for that campaign. And then crazy how God works. After he helped fund the campaign, 2 months later, he was facing a gun enhancement here in California, right? And this guy is, you know, a celebrity guy, black guy, and they hit him with a gun enhancement. But Ty Dolla Sign, Tom Sizemore, Tiffany Haddish, Method Man, a lot of celebrities are working with us on that campaign. So the reason why I brought that up is for Miss Johnson's change.org petition, as well as the book that you have. A lot of these celebrities, we might have small numbers on social media right now, but once this campaign kicks off, we have other organizations working with us, like Athletes for Impact, a lady named Danielle Frost, the smartest black woman I have ever met in my life. At a young age, my grandmother was number one, but at a young age, man, she's with it, like super. But she's part of our organization. And what these celebrities are going to start doing, she has NFL players, NBA players. They're going to start sharing our social media platforms to get our message out to millions of people as opposed to just these thousands we have. And that's going to launch really soon. I can't say exactly what day, but that's going to launch. Put it like I wanted it launched 2 weeks ago. So within the next 2 months, I know for sure it's probably going to be launched. And if you guys are ready, we'll definitely push your guys as Miss Johnson, your change.org petition, and Mr. Jones, whatever you got, the book or whatever else you need, Mr. Matthews, you sound like you got everything I want. But so if there's something we can help anybody on this panel, no matter what it is, if we can do it, we'll help. If you don't have the social media reach that we have either now or that we're growing, if I have it, you guys have it. If Unite the People has it, you guys have it. You want to get your reentry or whatever it is, let's do it. And will you share? I'll share whatever it is. If it helps people in prison, ma'am, I'm talking to the person on the thread right there. Somebody said something. They said, will we share something about a death row petition? We absolutely will. Not only do we share it, I normally, quiet as it's kept, I don't normally tell people this, but I normally go put a little money behind it and boost it, try to really get it out there to the people. But yes, ma'am, we absolutely will share that. Anything that deals with helping either people who are incarcerated or the disadvantaged community.
Thank you. I want to say that I want to go ahead, Dr. Carmen. I apologize.
Oh,
Ladies
no,
first.
I can wait.
No, go ahead. Ladies first. Go ahead.
Thank you. So I don't know how you guys feel about this, but you know, another vision that I have is those 8 Crime Act bills that are on the books. And you know, Judge Joe Brown told me, well, Carmen, is really like 9 of them that has affected the Black, brown, and tan community. And that's another vision that I want to help with dismantling those acts that are on the books. And is that something that the McDowell brothers have thought about or considered or you know, at least played with in your head? Because yeah, the Second Chance Act, the First Step Act, yeah, they're getting people out and things of that nature, but then subjectively, it's so many people that are going to jail. And you know, since February 2020, I've sat in over 2,400 bond review hearings. So I'm watching Black, brown, and tan people continue to go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
So
can you explain to me a little bit about what that is you're saying? Is it something that we've thought about?
the Crime Act bills that have created mass incarceration to Black, brown, and tan people across the nation. From 1968 all the way to 1994. And I have 8, but I hear it's a 9th one also. And you know, we have to stop the bleeding, and we can't keep putting a Band-Aid on it, which is creating like the Second Chance Act, which is helping people, and the First Step Act, which is helping people, but they're still arresting Black, brown, and tan people.
Right. Okay, I can answer that by, of course, we've thought about all of that, but not maybe doing that, but just thought about that. But we're only two brothers and maybe 10, 15 staff members. No, I haven't. But I can't say this. Um, I will say this. We would definitely, if it's something that you have put together and you want us to collab with you, 100% with it. But like, yeah, yes, ma'am. But my brain is overflowing with things that we're trying to do now. Is killing me. So yeah, if you put the ball on the field, I'll go play with you for sure.
Okay. I wanted to add to that. Oh, you finished, Mr. Oh, she's finished. I see you muted yourself. Um, I wanted to say this. I want to ask you this. Just like the state of California, the federal government plays heavily on that enhancement stuff. Um, and that's something that I pointed out, but I at one time had like 5 enhancements. I had a leader and organizer enhancement. I had the presence of a gun enhancement. I had obstruction of justice enhancement, only because I got on the stand and testified at my own trial. And because I was found guilty, they said I lied. So they enhanced me for obstruction of justice. So I had several enhancements, as you said, pushed my sentence up another 30, 40 years. So are y'all looking? I know y'all are thinking about just doing it on the California state level at this time. Once that get done, can we corroborate on trying to do it for the federal level as well? And that's the first question part. That's the part A of the question. And the second thing is anything that you need. And I'm speaking to you as well, Dr. Carmen, anything that you need as far as trying to, we have to do it in the summertime because I'm from Florida and I don't deal with this cold. But I'm willing to get a bunch of people who has been incarcerated and not incarcerated together to go push, stand, march, do whatever we have to do in order to get some of these enhancements. I'm not beyond, if it's planned, coming to wherever y'all are at. I understand that flights are cheaper when you book them ahead of time. That's why I said letting us know. We have to actually start taking action opposed to, and not saying that you haven't. They need to see our face and let them know that, hey, we're serious and we're not going nowhere. The question is, have y'all thought about the federal aspect of it as well, or the federal level as well?
Absolutely. To be honest, it's been killing me not to get into the federal level. I've been wanting to get in there, and basically it has to do with attorneys, right? Because to deal with anything on the federal level, as far as post conviction or whatever it may be, you have to have attorneys that are federal, that are cleared on that level. And we did have them in the past, and we were ready to rock and roll, and something changed, and we had to no longer work with those lawyers. But yeah, absolutely, man. We definitely would, and whatever it is. Now we do have lawyers again that are able to draft whatever we need drafted for the federal level. But more than not, it's going to be something that's done with senators. It's going to be something that's done with governors. But the federal level, wait, let me back up. The federal level is going to be something done with congressmen, and it's going to be something done with the president, and we do have a connection. Like I said last week, one of our advisory board members, a guy named Weldon Angelos, is closely connected to the White House and to different congressmen. So we absolutely would love to get involved in that.
Okay, so how about this? How about we all get together, cooperate on it, and you since you're already ahead of the game with this on us, you already have a foundation. Tell us what it is that you need on this end in order to make that happen. Because I'm a firm believer that all state law is derived from federal law. Whenever you go through a state court, you go to the highest of the state court, then you go into the federal. You do 2254 and you go into a federal law. So it's all derived from federal law. That's the nucleus. That being the case, again, just let us know on this end, you know, in DC. I'm not gonna say DMV because I don't want nobody to think we talking about the driver's license, but DC area and Virginia area, you know, let us know what you need. And all of the people that's on this end, I know when time permitted, will contribute to that. You know, and that's why I say not only on this end, I'm sure people from everywhere will contribute because it will help their loved ones at some point. So just let us know what is needed at the time, and then we'll go from there. Because I have some friends, some personal friends that are federal public defenders, former federal public defenders that teach law in this area up here, so they can help us out. You know, if I know what it is that I'm asking them to help me with, you know, so then we can go from there.
Right. Well, yeah, we would definitely do that. We'd probably need, to be honest, Ms. Johnson seems like she knows what is trying to be accomplished. If we were to all maybe get on a Zoom, maybe we could bring our guy Weldon on, and or whether it's a conference call, whatever it may be, and just tell us a little bit about what it is that needs to be changed on the, you know, on that federal level. And then we can sit down and we can have Angelos with us and maybe discuss what he can or can't do, or what we can or can't do on our end. And then what we can't do, maybe we can all do together. And we could definitely look into, you know, doing whatever needs to be done.
Okay. You know, I wanted to also say that I'm going to look forward to that, and we'll set up a time for our meeting to do that. But the right now, at the time, the same thing you were speaking of is actually what's needed on a federal level, amongst other things. The enhancements, addressing those enhancements, you know, addressing what they call relevant conduct for the individuals who have drug cases, also known as ghost dope. Where people just come in and say, hey, I bought this from the McDowell brothers, a key of drugs from the McDowell brothers for 1 year. I know, just hypothetically speaking. And then what the court does is the court gives that tribute to that person 1 key of cocaine times 12, and that's how they craft that person's sentence. They call that relevant conduct on the federal level. You know, and there's no drugs, there's nothing. It's only the testimony of whoever that said that they was getting the drug. So it's a lot of things that's on the record that's killing us that we have no knowledge about. If there's a gun in the house and it's in the basement wrapped up behind a washer and a dryer, and I'm sitting in the house and they come in the house and find some pot, some marijuana. Now I got a 924C count, which is use and carrying of a gun or use or carry of a gun in relation to a drug trafficking crime, which carries. The time I went to jail, it was 5 years for the first one, 20 for each additional one, consecutive to any other sentence that you may get. It has gone up now, you know, so there's a lot. Again, we will get together and I'll give you some, you know, myself, Mr. Clifton, Dr. Carmen can give you some horror story. And I believe Mr. Matthew can give some horror stories about this federal system that needs to be changed. You know,
one thing I know one person, and my stepdaughter's father. He just got out from doing 45 years in the feds, and well, he was supposed to do 45. I think he got out a little early, 30 or something like that. But he never got caught with nothing.
Absolutely.
Somebody else got caught with drugs and said, "This is where I get the drugs from," and he went to prison and got sentenced to 45 years and then get caught for nothing.
Okay.
Like, that didn't even make sense when I was younger and I first heard that. I think there's a problem with the feds with that. Like, how you just go off? How do I arrest someone, and then the person they arrest wants to get off, so he just shoots it over there? I think you need something to arrest someone.
Okay, I want to say that what you just explained is what they call relevant conduct. That's what they call that, relevant conduct. I want to say this, and then I'm gonna let Mr. Matthews. I think he had his hand up. He might have took it down. It's called relevant conduct, but I want you to know that I've done 20 years and 10 months in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Initially, I was sentenced to 1,380 months, which is 115 years, based on relevant conduct. They never caught me with a gun. They never caught me with no drugs. They don't have no drugs. They don't have no guns. They don't have nothing. It's just like you're saying, someone gets arrested for doing a different crime and then say, well, hey, can you help us with Mr. Jones? Of course, I'm going to help you with Mr. Jones if you're going to give me years. You know, that's a rhetorical question.
And I'll show up to court.
And they come to court. and they testified that they were doing this, or they seen me with a gun when I sold them a bag of marijuana or an ounce of crack. I had a gun in my pocket. So now that's a felon in possession of a gun or a prohibited person from carrying a gun, because I have been convicted of a misdemeanor. I don't think a lot of people are aware of that. Totally different show, but I'm going to give you a brief recap. If you are a person that's been convicted of a misdemeanor that carries more than a year in a day, carries is the key word. That don't mean you have to get the year, but if it carries more than a year in a day, you are a prohibited person from carrying a gun. So you are just like a felon in possession of a gun. That's federal law. A lot of people are not aware of that. I wasn't aware of that. I got sentenced for that, and I had permission from my probation department, my probation officer, for the misdemeanor I was on probation for, that I can carry a gun. The feds say, hey, I don't care what they say. Federal law supersedes state law. The law for the feds says this, and the question is, did you have one? This law says this. Did you violate this law? I went in prison for that. I'm going to say that that's what we need to work on, those enhancements, because the person says they see me with a gun. I got the drug count. I got the gun for carrying a gun. I have the 924C, which is using the gun. That's an additional 5 years to anything else that I got, and so forth. They gave me like 10 counts for one transaction. That's something we need to work on. And again, that's relevant conduct. What you explaining is relevant conduct. I got all that time for relevant conduct. Never caught me with anything. But I want to go on, move on.
So let me ask you this: how'd you get out?
What happened was, because they have so many people that's testifying, there was 36 people that testified against me. Someone would say, hey man, it's 36 people. It's a numbers game. 36-1. Who you gonna believe? I'm gonna believe the 36, but what they leave out is all 36 of them people have been caught red-handed committing crimes. So now they're giving information to help them get a reduced sentence. So now in the course of doing that, because they don't know me for real and they're just trying to help themselves, they're giving time periods of us doing transactions when I was actually out of state, incarcerated somewhere else, or there was no way possible for me to do that transaction. And when you go to trial, the jury just believes whoever tells the best story. They don't look at the law or the facts and stuff.
Right.
They just go on who tells the best story, or the convincing story. And they were convinced by the government opposed to me. When I went to appeal court and I was able to use the documents that was presented, and they call it the documents of record, there's no way you can refute that I was in jail in Maryland when this woman saying I was buying drugs from her, or she was buying drugs from me for extended period of time. So they, gave me a new trial. Then my lawyer told me the most I can get if I went to trial was 45 years. If I found guilty and lost on all counts, and it's that fight the power lawyer for you, Caesar. He told me if I go to trial and lose, the most I would get is 45 years. My minimum guideline, that's the low end, the least the court could have gave me was 1,380 months. So he was ineffective in conveying to me what the plea offer were and what the consequences of my actions were, to make me weigh heavily on whether I want to accept that plea or not. So when I actually filed my post-trial motions, what they did was came back and gave me a post-trial agreement, which was take this 25 years, go to prison, and we'll vacate 27 of the convictions, and you just go to sentencing on 2, and you can never appeal those. So that's what ended up happening to me. When you get this book, then I'm going to send you a copy of it. Once you get it, that is in there. All the documents, the letter from the attorney telling me that, the letter from the prosecutor, amongst other things. That story is in here. My story is in here. But again, for time restraints, we ended the show last week, and I don't want to see you cry, but if you do, I'll get some tissue. We were supposed to talk about the COVID-19 scenario that y'all had, that Lisa asked y'all to speak on. One of the individuals on the panel definitely want to hear it, and a lot of us would definitely like to hear it.
You can have the camera.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm joking. Well, it ain't gonna be no crying, right? I figured it out.
Okay, you figured it out.
Yeah, I figured it out. No, I mean it's basically this, right? And it's really not crying out, oh, woe is me. It just frustrates me in the position that they put me in, because they were in power and I was their prisoner, right? But what happened was this. I've had anxiety attacks, right? I have anxiety attacks. And I haven't had one in a while, but I used to have them when I was in prison. As time went, I used to get them worse and worse and worse. You know, I went a span of 6 months with having an anxiety attack every single night. And they was really, really bad, not just your average anxiety attack. I would have them in my sleep, right? Like it got really bad. So the reason why I bring that up is COVID-19 hits. I'm at San Quentin State Prison. COVID-19 hits, and I'm just about to go home, right? I go home when this situation happened. I go home on Friday, June 26th. On Monday, uh, what happened was this: San Quentin didn't have no COVID-19 cases at all, right? They had zero. There was a prison in California that had a really bad outbreak. Everybody got like 900 people got COVID-19. So what happened was some genius here in California decided, well, let's move 200 of those people from Chino State Prison that so-called don't have COVID. They're going to move them to San Quentin. Now, the surrounding community, it's a city called Marin. They protested against it. Judges spoke out against it, but CDC did it anyway. So they brought 200 guys from Chino State Prison to San Quentin. And when they brought these guys, as soon as they brought them, they infected everybody. It was a major outbreak of COVID-19 in San Quentin. There's about 4,500 guys in San Quentin, and 85% of the people in San Quentin got COVID-19. And getting COVID-19 in prison is different than getting COVID-19 out here and going to get some help. It was still brand new. So what they were doing was, if you showed symptoms of COVID-19, they would go lock you in what they called the COVID-19 unit. It used to be the hole. It's the other side of the hole in San Quentin. And it holds 800 people, 400 on the front, 400 on the back. It's open cells. It's like cowboy movies where you see the guys holding on the bars talking to. That's how it is. There's no doors. There's no AC. There's none of that. So what is in that building is in that building. So in the building that I was in when the outbreak happened, there was my neighbors on both sides of me fell out from COVID-19 one day at the same time, right? So when they fall out, I'm trying not to worry about it. My cellie and I used to lay up in the cell and cover our face, turn our fans towards the door. We just try not to get these particles in there, whatever. And so now, here it is. I done did 20 years on a nonviolent crime, and I'm going to go home now, right? I'm supposed to go home on Friday. Monday, these two guys fall out, and medical comes with the hazmat suits, and they don't touch it. It's new, so they're not even touching you. Just here, come on, let's take you. So they take these guys. They fall out. They take them to the COVID-19 unit. In my brain, I was, I guess, in the back of my head, like, man, I hope I don't get it. You know what I mean? As everybody can probably tell, I got a little weight on me, a lot of weight on me. But they say that's bad for you, right? COVID, you get COVID, you're going to be messed up. So here it is, Monday night. These guys fall out. It's been on my head all day. Come midnight, Monday night, I have a little bit of an anxiety attack, right? I'm in the cell. I can't breathe. I think I'm dying. I can't breathe. Anxiety attacks, you think you're having a heart attack. Your brain tells your body that you're having a heart attack. You can't breathe. So you just respond. So that's ended up, I have an anxiety attack, a little one. They call man down. They come escort me down to the medical at the bottom of the building. I live on the 5th tier. I live under death row. That's the 5th tier. Death row's the 6th tier, right above me. And they take me down to the medical. The medical guy looks at me Said, oh man, you're okay. They do my vitals. You're okay. You're just fine. Go back up to your cell. So I done got a little air. I'm cool. I'm doing good. I go back up to my cell. I'm laying there, and about 30 minutes later, you would think SWAT came to my cell. These just out of the McDowell, get up, roll your stuff up. Excuse me, Miss Johnson and everybody else. Roll your stuff up. You going to the COVID-19 unit. So I'm I don't want to go to the COVID-19 unit, right? It's 28 people I think died from COVID in San Quentin, and I don't want to go. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to go nowhere where you guys are basically going to kill me. I'm going to go there, get COVID, and I'm going to die like the rest of these dudes. So I'm telling them I refuse. I'm not going to go. So they know I'm going home Friday. So what they kept telling me was, if you don't go, we're going to give you 5 more years in prison. Now, after 20 years, man, you want to go home. It's the end. Friday's coming. You want to go home?
Take your time, bro.
You want to go home with your kids and your family, your brothers now. So, man, it was a hard decision. I kept telling them no. They kept telling me, "Yo, you're gonna get your shit. Come on, you're gonna go, or you're gonna get 5 more years." So, I long story short, man, I mean, it's hard. It was a hard decision because, like, literally, I thought, I'm choosing either to die or go home Friday. So I made the choice to go. So when I went, they walk you down. They walk you down with you got your shit in the car, your stuff in the car. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Lisa's gonna throw it. None. Um, you push your cart down there to the building, and it's like a big old dungeon. I mean, it's really like a nightmare. It's hard to explain, but if you went through it, you would get it. It's in the middle of the night. It's jet black. You're walking down this big dungeon prison. You get down there, and they have these big metal doors. The doors is like 15 feet tall. It's big metal doors with a big rock building, and it's jet black. There's no lights. There's no nothing. There's no electricity where we're going. It's electricity for the police outside of the cells, but inside the cells, there's no electricity. There's no nothing. So we're pushing, and they bust the doors open, and as soon as they bust the doors open, man, the only thing I heard was, "I'm freezing." It's just everywhere. You hear it coming from everywhere. "I'm freezing. I'm freezing. I can't breathe." And people are choking, and like, I mean, literally, that's all you hear is like, "Oh, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Help me." And they're not helping nobody, right? And I'm pushing my cart and I'm begging this dude. And that's the part that makes me get teary eyed. It's not like, oh, they did something to me and I'm crying. It just makes you mad that I'm begging this dude, this other man. He's just a man like I'm a man. But I'm begging him for my life. Like, literally. I go, "Hey, man, please don't do this to me. Hey, can you please just take me back to my, but I only have anxiety attacks. I don't have COVID. If you guys just open my file, you'll see that I don't have COVID." And they didn't care. To them, it was, I'm like a dog. It don't matter. To him, the faster he gets me locked up, the faster he gets to go home. So they walked me down this long, dark tier with no lights, no nothing. Everybody's coughing. Everybody's choking. I can't breathe. I'm freezing. Help me. They walk me to this cell. I get down to this cell and the door busts open. The guys next to me are begging the COs to help them. Like, can you please get medical? Medical's not coming in here. There's no medical help. None. And the dudes is like, "Man, help us, please, please, please." And the dude's like, McDowell, get in there, get in there. Now there's an old light, like a greenish colored light in the back of the cell at the roof. But when I'm looking like, man, I'm begging this dude, like, please, man, don't put me in here, man. I don't want to die. And the dude's like, man, shut up and get in there. And so when I walk into this cell, like it literally, man, to walk into that cell, I accepted death. Like, okay, they're gonna kill me. But you know, I wasn't worried about me. I wanted to go home and see my kids. I wanted to go home and see my brothers. You know what I mean? So that's, you know, I walk into this cell and there's literally diarrhea up all the walls. Like the beds is right here. The diarrhea on the beds, it stinks like diarrhea. It's brown and green diarrhea on the floor, on the walls. And obviously the the, the dude that was in here before me probably just died of COVID. If he didn't just die, he's definitely in medical somewhere from COVID. So when I go in here, I don't want to go up in there. So I tell the man, like, hey, man, look, there's diarrhea everywhere. Like, you guys didn't clean this out. COVID's still in here. Y'all didn't disinfect this cell. Y'all didn't do nothing. If I go in here, I'm going to get COVID. But I go. So when I go, I tell the man, I said, man, well, can I get some cleaner? Can I get some disinfectant? If y'all ain't going to clean it, I'll clean it. This was Monday. To do look me in my face, man, like I was a piece of just nothing. And told me, oh man, it's Monday. We pass out cleaner on Sunday. You just missed it. Right? So, and to close the door, lock me in there. So it's Monday. I go back to the back of the cell. They have a toilet in the back of the cell by the head of the bed. I go back. I sit on that toilet. I wrap my face with a sheet. Before I do that, I write a letter. I write a quick 1-page letter to the medical. And I tell them, I said, man, I don't have COVID. I have anxiety attacks. If you guys would just take a moment to look at my C file, you'll see, or my medical file, you'll see that I have had anxiety attacks for years. I had a small anxiety attack, but I don't have COVID. And you guys are locking me in here where it doesn't help, but I'm going to get COVID. I write that letter, I put it in the gate, I wrap my face with a blanket, and I go back and I sit in the back of the cell on the toilet. I sit on that toilet, man, from Monday until Friday. I sat there so long that when Friday came, I had purple bruises in the shape of a toilet across my legs. But I sat there that whole time and dudes was dying. Dudes, you hear it over the microphones. You hear, you know, the COs got walkie-talkies and they got a PA system. So you hear over the walkie-talkie, you hear inmate down, inmate not breathing. And then a few minutes later, you hear inmate deceased. And they just come rolling dudes out of there, man, like pieces of meat. Like, dude died, they roll him out, go right back to it. Like it's nothing. They even had the first one that I heard go down, the first dude, they knew that we heard it. Because when we heard inmate down, a few minutes later, inmate not breathing. A few minutes later, inmate deceased. Panic went through that spot. Like, it's 800 dudes that just heard that. And they went crazy, right? Dudes is panicking. They want to get up out of here. We're locked in these cages. Medical will not come within 6 feet of your cell door. They're not coming. They're coming in hazmats. They're standing way back. They won't help you. You you're there, man. If you die, you die. If you don't die, great. But they're not coming to help you, is literally what it is. And the first time I heard that, we heard that dying, the police to try to cover up, dude died and we just heard it. As they came down the tears, like, yeah, man, don't worry about him, y'all. He died, it ain't y'all. He was a chomo. He was a child molester. He was a child. Everybody clap it up for the child molester that just died. It's a child molester died. And so the police walking up and down the tears, clapping it up, and they're clowning. Like we didn't even matter. And if you fell for it, you fell for it, I don't know. But they're covering up dudes dying. They're not telling dudes. When I got out of San Quentin State Prison, they telling people that, oh man, nobody really got hurt or nobody really, man, I saw him die. You can't tell me that. But for the public, that's what they're telling us. They're telling the communities like, oh man, no, some people sick. Oh, everything's okay. That's BS. That's BS. And to top all that off, when Friday comes, right? And I'm gonna speed this up because I didn't mean to go that long, but Friday comes and they come to my door. And the shit was like the stuff was like a dream. Like I'm sitting on the toilet, my legs have been dead numb. You sit on the toilet for 5 days, you figure your legs are numb, you can't feel your toes, you can't nothing. And they came to my door and they said, McDowell, you ready to go? Let's go. Man, I damn near did front flips out of there trying to get out of that cell, right? My legs wasn't working, but I'm out of there. So I get out of there. I leave they brought one of my buddies in, a Christian dude named Big Mike. They bring Big Mike in. He got COVID, but they didn't let him grab all of his stuff. And so they brought him in. He had no food, no clothes, no nothing. They just brought him right there and housed him. So when I left him all of my clothes, all of my food. Good dude, man, good dude. And when I got close to getting a date to go home, dude used to be on me every day. Like, don't mess up, don't, whatever it is, don't do it. You know what I mean? Good dude. The brother died. He died. He got that. He died. But I left him all my stuff, so at least he knew like somebody cared about him because they don't mess with you there. So I left him my stuff, man. I'm out of there, and I push my car. I go to the R&R, and I should have known something was about to happen because it wasn't regular. I get to R&R, and they tell me, McDowell, you the only one going home today, baby. Hurry up, get your stuff. Normally, when you go to R&R to go home, as your brothers may know, they take forever. Processing you out, Ms. Matthews. I see, they take forever. I go to R&R, and man, everything. McDowell, hurry up, let's go, hurry up. They come in my box of clothes, they dump them on the floor. That's when I should have known it was about to get ill. But they hurry up, put these on, McDowell. So I put them on. I can't wait. I know Mitch is outside. I got a cell phone. Well, I didn't have it in the COVID-19 hole. I'd have called 911. So I'd have went to jail. I probably wouldn't have got out. I'd have told them myself. But they dump my clothes out. They tell me like, man, hurry up and put these on. So I'm putting them on. I'm not even dressed yet. They're like, come on, let's go. Come on. So I'm hopping. I'm on one foot. I'm getting out of R&R, ready to go, baby. I know Mitch is outside. We're going to jump in the car. We're going to go home. And this shit is over with. But through my peripheral vision, I see one of the COs putting on the black gloves. Yeah, y'all know what that means. It's finna get ill. So when they put on the black gloves, I catch him out my rear view, so I turn and look like, man, what are you doing? And when I turned and asked him that, when I turned back around, it was two COs. When I turned back around, we're walking out to an SUV. We're going outside R&R. There's an SUV parked right there. They're supposed to put me in that SUV, take me 100 yards to the front gate, and let me go. My family gonna be waiting right there, and it's over. When I turn back and I look at this dude, the dude from behind hits me with like an elbow and pushes me, trying to shove me into the SUV. The dude that's in front of me like grabbed me by my head, and he's trying to throw me in the SUV. Now I don't understand what is going on, but I know I'm not getting in this SUV because the SUV that they have that dog carrier. You know, when you travel with your pets on the airplane, they got that plastic cage with the metal bars. Well, I mean, the little metal holes where the dogs see out of the front gate. Well, they put that in the vehicles for California. And I having bad anxiety attacks. So whenever I get in those, I pass out. And so the doctors have wrote in my file, don't put him in those little dog carriers, transport him in the other vans. So obviously they have read my file and they know I'm not supposed to go into this dog carrier because instead of them asking me to get in, they rushed me. So they rushed me and I'm kind of strong. They weren't that strong. And I'm resisting. I'm not trying to go into this cage. So they elbow me. They got their hands on my head. And the craziest part was, and I'm not no big, like, the revolutionary slavery days. I'm not that. Just a regular guy that understands what we all go through in the struggle. The only thing I could say was, I'm a free man. I'm a free man. I mean, this dude got his hands in my mouth. I remember the dude put his hands in my mouth so he could shove my head back. I'm hollering, man, I'm a free man. I'm a free man. What are y'all doing? I'm a free man. And they just kept, shut up, get in the van, shut up, get in the van. And so I'm telling them, like, what are y'all doing, man? I'm supposed to be going home. My brother's right outside, man. And they're like, you ain't got no family. Ain't no family here. Your brother ain't outside. And I'm telling the dude, I'm pleading with the dude, like, man, my brother's right outside. I know he's outside. But they see that they can't shove me into this van because I'm fighting for my life. I'm not trying to go in there. So the dude tells me, well, if I go call my sergeant and find out whether your brother's at that front gate, will you get in the van? I said, man, you gonna call. I know Mitch is there. I done talked to him. He knows what day I'm going home. And I know my bro gonna show up. So I'm like, man, you gonna call your sergeant. Your sergeant say that my brother's not out there. I'll get in the van. So he goes in. A few minutes later, he comes out. I knew it wasn't good because instead of him just coming out like regular, the boy's in a slow jog. And the first thing he do is hit me, get in the damn van, right? Your brother's not out there. Ain't nobody outside. And I'm resisting. And then I stopped. And I can remember this like it was yesterday. I stopped while they're tussling me up. I look around and it's like kind of rain. It's not raining, but it's kind of like that weather. And there's nobody out on the yards. The prison's on lockdown. But when I look around, if any other CO hits the corner and sees what's going on, they're going to hit their alarm and they're going to say, I'm fighting the COs. And they're going to give me that charge they give everybody, your assault and staff, right? Staff whoop your tail, and then you go to court for assault and staff. So I know the game. And so I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to get in. So I get in. They tell me they're taking me to LA County. And I'm like, LA County? What am I going to LA County for? I just did 20 years. I definitely can't have a case. So what are you all taking me to LA County jail for? And they won't tell me nothing. They won't say nothing. They're just sitting there. And I'm riding in the back of this thing. They got me shackled by my ankles, shackled my wrist, shackled around my waist. And I'm supposed to be free. I just did 20. So we driving and we on the freeway and I'm horribly mad. I'm super mad. Well, probably the maddest I've ever been in my rate, but I'm not talking. I'm not saying. I'm just sitting there, and the dude can tell, I guess. And he's like, "Hey man, what's your brother's number? Let me call your brother." I give him Mitch's number. They call Mitch. I hear him call Mitch, but I can't hear him in the back of the car. But I hear him talking to him something. Then he turn around and he say like, "Hey, your brother said, man, stop tripping. At least you're free." which did help some because my mind was on something totally different. Like, just to be honest, I was upset. I couldn't believe that as a man, I had to belittle myself. And I'm trying not to have an anxiety attack. So I'm breathing through my nose, out my mouth, like the therapist. I had to go to the therapist for 3 years for these anxiety attacks. And finally, dude calls Mitch. He tells him, he's like, hey, man, your brother says I'm tripping. At least you're free. I think they're taking me to LA County Jail. And then all of a sudden they passed LA on the freeway. Now they're heading out toward the desert. And what's in my mind is they done found out about Unite the People because nobody knew that I was running Unite the People with Mitch from the prison, right? We've been doing this for 5 years and they ain't found out nothing. So I'm thinking, oh, they done found out about our nonprofit. We trying to help the people and they finna go kill me. I literally thought, okay, they're taking me because we out in the desert. And they get off the freeway. We off in the desert. And some motels pop up. And remember, I haven't been home in 20 years. I don't recognize nothing. We pulled up from the hotels. They open the door and tell me, get out. Tell me you're free. Because they put me in the COVID-19 unit. They not infected me, but I forgot the word, but they put me near COVID.
They exposed you to individuals that had COVID.
Right. Since they exposed me to the individuals that had COVID, they couldn't parole me like normal. But instead of them just telling me that, they wanted to jump on me. And they pulled up in front of the hotel and told me, get out. Gave me $200, said stay in that hotel for 2 weeks. And they left. And so I called Mitch, like, man, hey, I'm at this hotel and some other thing, hey. And then that's how I came home. And I came home. Mitch and I lived together. And that's what it was. But now the one thing they did do was in my parole rules and regulations, the rules and regulations stated that I cannot parole near my ex-wife. I can't go near my ex-wife that I had the argument with about the nonviolent case that got me this time. Well, where they paroled me to, where they dropped me off at was literally diagonally across the street from her house. Right? They dropped me off right there. So I called Mitch like, hey, man, I'm not falling for this one. Come get me. So he came, got me, man, and this is where I've been ever since. I've been working here at Unite the People, and this is what we do.
I want to say thanks for the story. I give all the glory to the Creator for you making it through and not catching COVID. In closing, I want to say that I contracted COVID, and when we're inside, for the ones that don't know, we work out religiously, so I'm not no little skinny guy, and I'm not, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do no type of drugs and that stuff there. So, but I want to tell you, it knocked me down. And when I went to the hospital, for the people from this area, I went to Washington Medical Hospital, and they kept me there for 2 days. And then when I was there, the National Institute of Health came by and asked me to participate in their COVID program, which I did. I'm 100% back now, but the NIH also had me come back to do tests again because they did MRIs, CAT scans, echo sounds, ultrasounds. They did everything on me, and had me do breathing tests and everything. But it's something that Dr. Carmen has wrote in the chat that I'm going to share with everybody else. When you catch COVID, they don't give you anything for COVID. There's no medication whatsoever for COVID. So when I went in the hospital, all they did was just put me in the bed next to a guy that has COVID. And the only thing they did was whenever I felt pain, hit the button, let me know, and I'll bring you an ibuprofen or a Tylenol or something to ease your pain. So I stayed in the hospital for 2 days because my breathing, my heart rate would go down whenever I walk. So when they got strong back again, they let me go and told me to go home and self-quarantine, gave me some ibuprofen 800s and said, if you feel any pain, take these. The guy next to me, his stomach was swelling up. He had sugar, and the sugar was over 300. and they wasn't giving them anything but morphine. You know, basically they were saying, hey, we're going to make you comfortable before you go out of here. You know, so I want individuals to tell people this because, you know, they need to know there is no fix for COVID. You know, there's no medication. I don't, everybody each and all about the vaccine, you make your own decision. I'm not even giving my opinion about that. I have allergies, you know, so I know that it's been said that people with allergies, it's not good to take the vaccine. You know, so I can't take the vaccine, so I have to be extra careful. But I just want to emphasize that it's not right what you went through. I emphasize with you. I definitely feel your pain because I know how they treat us in the inside.
Right.
But I want to tell you that there's no medication for COVID. You know, so they just when you get COVID, you just got to fight it off. As Dr. Carmen said, you got to thug it out. You know, and I just hope your immune system is up to par. You know, because you know that breathing, your bowel movement, you know, a whole, you know, you're gonna be in pain. You know, I do not want to experience that again. Let me say that. I'm glad that you pulled through because a lot of people don't. You know, and it's because there's nothing for it. You know, so with that being said, I want to say I'm glad that you're here, brother. I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, and you know, we're gonna definitely cooperate. For everybody who is it's late, so we're past the time period. So what we'll do is I'll reach out to everybody and give them another link for when we can get together on this funding matter, and we'll do that. I have the names of the people that want to be on there. I know Raymond. Let me look at my list. I know Angie, you want to be on there. I know Raymond wants to be on there. I know Maurice wants to be on there. I know definitely Caesar, your brother wants to be on there, and Dr. Carmen, I know you will want to be on there as well. So I'll reach out to everyone individually. If I missed anybody, please inbox me, text me, get in contact with me somewhere so I can get you on the list, and we can do what we got to do with this funding. I want to thank you, Mr. McDowell, for coming on the show, sharing your stories, you sharing your information that you're doing, your success and stuff like that there. And I definitely look forward to working with you and cooperating with you on anything. It doesn't matter. I definitely look forward to it. But I definitely want to tell you, thank you, brother, as well for coming and sharing. You know, it's much appreciated. Mr. Matthews, I want to thank you for coming and sharing with us the programs that you have in this area. You know, I forgot to send a memorandum to you. I will get that to you by tomorrow because I'm not doing no work nowhere in the land tomorrow. You know, so I'll be on the computer setting the stuff out. So I will be in contact. Everybody have a good night and thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.